the whole idea is if we split the field up horizontally or vertically, however you want to look at it, how are we attacking that within the same concept? And so I'll be walking through some of the ways that we do it for about 30 minutes here, and then Coach will walk through some of the ways that he does it. My goal as we go through this is to kind of give you things that we do, but things that you can do in your own offense. Like, you're welcome to steal anything I got, guys. Take it and use it, and if you probably make it better than I'm doing it. But you're also welcome to just take parts of it and adapt it within your own thing. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today, is just this philosophy of how we see the field, but then I'm going to give you a little bit of game film as well, and show you practically how that looks. This stuff's coming out of my system, WingT RPO system. I actually just dropped my playbook. I was telling Coach Mathieson, for us to do a playbook's impossible because of what we're talking about right now. It's split field concepts. Like, every play has a this or that, or it could be 3,000 pages like his could be, because there's so much stuff. But when you see it and get the concepts, it allows you to be creative. And that's kind of the goal of what I want to talk about today. So all that said, all that background, let's go ahead and kind of actually walk into it. Here's what I think split field offense is. Okay, split field offense to me is when you're running a different kind of play or a different kind of concept on each side of the field is one way you can look at it. So we're going to run, this has been going on forever, where you see a pass air raid team that runs a cover 3 beater on the right, a cover 2 beater on the left, and the quarterback sees the coverage and then takes what he wants to take. Okay, well, that's been going on for a while. Or there's a lot of times I remember playing high school ball. We ran veer and option, and I lined up, and I could call Riverside to switch the side of the play. So the idea of seeing the field in two sides is not unique. That's been around forever. Okay, but actually literally running a different play on each side is starting to evolve more and more. You're starting to see that a lot more. And then you have the evolution of the RPO game. A lot of the stuff that I have taken has been from Noel Mazzoni. I think he is unbelievable with some of his stuff, but it's not all split field. But there are a couple guys that are running something different. So you may have maybe 9 guys are running the play and 2 guys are running something else. Okay, and the quarterback decides. Or if it's a big RPO, it might be 4 guys running something different and 7 guys running the normal play. Okay. Or you can go where you're reading the entire actual field. You'll see this a lot of times, like I think Coach is going to talk a lot about this. I'm not going to jump into his area, but you'll see a lot of times where you have a pass concept and a screen concept. So you literally are dividing your team in half, and they're running 2 plays, and the quarterback makes the guy right. And so there's lots of different ways you can look at splitting the field. Okay. And so I'm going to walk through, for me, I'm going to walk through RPO because I'm kind of heavy in that area. I think I know pretty well in that area. I'm going to let Coach kind of handle the screen kind of stuff. I think he's the expert. That's why I brought him on here. So when you're running different concepts on each side of the field, talked about this earlier. So the first way you do it is you look at what the defense is giving you. So if you're an air raid guy, been around forever, okay, or you're a guy that wants to run double screens, you want to run a screen on both sides of the field, okay, that's not unique or new, but it has grown and turned into more things. And so that's one way you can actually do like double passes. This I've actually got pulled up, but it's not, I'm actually going to walk you through our formation. So for example, what you did this year is we put our running back over here, and I couldn't find a good clip of it. And we would bubble him out of the backfield, block the bubble screen with our back, and then block the tunnel screen up top. Okay. And so we're running 2 different concepts at the same time, and the quarterback would decide which one he liked based on a pre-snap look. Let's see. That was nice and loud. We've now adapted it to where we've run faked it, because here's the deal that I'm hoping Coach Mathieson can shed a little more light on, is sometimes when you give your quarterback too much, he does nothing. And so it's something we have had a hard time with. So that's an expensive RPO. So we've kind of moved it, or not even RPO, double screen option. I think he's going to talk on that. So we have moved it to now where we're running a tunnel look and then throwing the screen. Okay. And so we've adapted that same play where now I can throw a bubble okay, and throw the screen, or I can hand it off. We'll run that same tunnel screen about 20 different ways, okay?
Appreciate Coach Simpson going through that, and it's always fascinating. Those of you that are tuning in, we did not choreograph this, but some of the same words that Coach used with expensive and so forth are exactly the same words that I will use here. So nice to know that we're on the same page with this deal. But our system overview for those that don't know, if you're more familiar with Coach Simpson's stuff and getting me on the back end here, but we are the left coast spread WingT, and really all that means is that we've taken an old West Coast offense that kind of turned into the air raid, but really rooted in under center West Coast offense, because that kind of fit 20 years ago with under center WingT and offset halfbacks and stuff. And then we're based out of spread formations, and we gap block everything with traditional WingT from that standpoint. But really what we want to do is get the football to people in space, and we want to do it efficiently, simplistically, and repetitive. And we're trying to find numbers advantage somewhere, numbers advantage either on the perimeter, numbers advantage in the box, wherever that might be. We want good angles with our run game, and then we want to find our receivers space. We want to find them grass. And so, again, the way our lens is, we're just trying to find numbers, trying to find angles, trying to find grass. You've probably heard that lots of times. That's true for us. What we are really is we're a multiple formation, gap blocking, quick passing, play action pass screen team that uses multiple tempos. We want to be physical in the run game. We want to create mismatches with formation shifts and motions, and then we want to use tempo to control the flow of the game. So diving in, split field concepts, and I'm glad Coach went first and kind of explained it from his lens. And I think for different people, it can mean different things. And for me, I think split field concepts, one, they can be considered RPOs, and then they can also exist outside of the traditional run-pass option family. For me, RPOs are blended schemes wherein the offense incorporates pass options in order to take advantage of uncovered wide receivers and or control the unblocked defender in the run game. And so those, to me, can be expensive. And as Coach talked about, there's probably different levels of that, and there's really simplistic ones that I'll kind of hit on, and then they can get really expensive. And to me, I think full field coverage. And when I think split field versus half field, if you're coaching on defense and you've got to get a coverage in versus a 3-by-1 set, at least for me, that's something that I have to work as a full back end. I cannot half line 3-by-1 stuff, because usually a backside safety is tied somehow to the 3-man side or whatnot. And so in practice, I'm not going to get nearly the amount of reps in defending 3-by-1 as I might defending 2-by-2, where I can truly split my coverage, like, cover 2 on the boundary and cover 4 to the field or whatnot. And so that's kind of how I view RPOs, is how much do I really want to invest versus otherwise. So then split field concepts, they can also be considered traditional or double or triple actions, where you're reading one player. And but they can also exist outside of the traditional option families. And to me, traditional option schemes are by design plays wherein the offense incorporates post-snap reads in order to conflict or control an unblocked defender in the run game. And again, those can be expensive. Inside veer is an expensive play if you're really reading it. Outside veer, an expensive play if you're really reading it. And again, those are full field coverage types for me, where they take up practice time. And so the illusion of our offense is trying to do as many things as we can by truly being as simplistic as possible and efficient as possible. And efficiency to me is making something that might appear complex really simple. And so for us, I do want to retrace a little bit just on RPOs for us, which is a good follow-up to Coach. I think there are 3 kinds of RPOs, at least in our system. And there's numbers-based, and those are what Coach talked about initially, which is a screen on one side. Hey, do I have numbers over there? If I've got 3 receivers and they've got 1 overhang player, a corner, and a deep safety, then I'm 3 on 2, and I'm going to go ahead and throw a screen, take the numbers. Leverage base for us is exactly what Coach talked about with the single side hitch. If I've got a loose corner and no apex player in the alley, I've got good leverage out there, I'm going to go ahead and rip the hitch on any run play away. And then the more expensive ones you're running glance routes and so forth. You can read level 1 down linemen, and you can also read level 2 or 3 defenders post snap. And to me, the more you read post snap, the more expensive a play can become. And so we spend a lot of time in our offense designing plays that are conceptually 2 plays, but they're truly read more so pre-snap, okay? Or if it's post-snap, it might only have one very clear read. This is a traditional buck sweep play, right? And Coach talked about this. Here we're running buck sweep to the right, and we've got slant routes on the left. And, everyone talks about, we just call it double trap slant. And it seems like it'd be an easy play because we're running slants on this side of the field, which we run, and then we're running double trap to the other side of the field. Buck sweep, we call it double trap because 2 guards are pulling. Okay? But when you really look at the play, I don't know if it's that simple, because here's when we run 92 for us, when we run slants, we read that where we read this apex defender. And based on what he does, we rhythm this whole side. So in our quick game, we're going to look at that apex defender, and we're going to read this whole thing as one concept. Okay, we're going to read that one concept in 1.8 seconds. We're going to go punch plant, and we're going to read it. If we don't like it, we're going to reset to the backside dig. And if we don't like that, then we're going to reset again to my whip route there. And so for us, that's how we would run quick game. Then when we run buck sweep out of under center, let's say, quarterback's taking the ball, he's running his boot, and the running back's running his buck sweep, and guards are pulling. We've got the tackle on the backside, hero blocking over the hole, 8 yards over the hole. So that's our buck sweep play. So then when you go back to this play and you go, okay, well, is it as simple as calling it a half field play? And you go, if you put a line down the middle, it looks like we're running slants over here and we're running buck sweep to the right. But are we really? The quick tackle can no longer hero block. So that's a check that has to go in, and coach talked to steal call or something. We have to give a check call, okay? So you don't want our tackle going downfield on any kind of pass play, right? So he's got to pull check. So that's got to come from somewhere. We're going to read the outside slant as an uncovered gift. If this corner, okay, is above the hard deck, then we're going to go punch plant and rip the slant, okay? And then our post-snap read is this wheel backer. If the wheel backer triggers on the guard, okay, then we can go ahead and work our window for the glance route. So in reality, it's 2 schemes, but the investment isn't as simple as running 2 schemes. It's one scheme that is blended. Again, this is just my lens, right? So you can't say that this is, for me, this isn't a pure split field from the standpoint of I'm not independently reading my slants like I normally do and my buck sweep. There are lots of changes going on. That investment is high. As Coach phrased in the previous half hour, that's expensive. Now, do we do it? Yeah. Do we do it with our freshmen? Not necessarily. And so those are things that you have to process. Okay, here's another example. Okay, here's our standard crisscross. And again, you'd think Coach and I talked a little bit about beforehand on this, but we didn't, but it's kind of cool. Okay, so here's our standard double handoff crisscross from an under center set, right? Quarterback's getting the ball back here to the halfback's doing a double handoff to the Z, and we've got 2 pullers depending on the front, usually our tight end and our wing, and they're pulling on the crisscross, right? So that's crisscross.
Coaches, Rick Stewart with All Access Coaching, where we're all about coaches helping coaches. Thanks for watching the video, and I've got to ask, please hit the subscribe and like button below. The like button really helps us with valuable data as to what videos to make and upload in the future to help you out. And the subscribe button will notify you when we upload new content to the channel. This channel is not specific to an offense or a defense. It's not even specific to Rick Stewart. I fly over the country filming college coaches and state championship coaches about their offenses, about their drills, about practices, about defense, about program building, team building, fundraising, and weight training. It's all about coaches helping coaches. So thanks for watching. Make sure you hit subscribe and like below. And as always, better today, but never as good as tomorrow.